Note to learner: this video provides content that will be hosted on the Ginnie Mae LMS in the near future. In this video, you will not be able to interact with screen content to include selecting pop-ups, launching resource hyperlinks, and answering knowledge check questions. Nonetheless, you will be presented with all of the content presented in the interactive e-learning training. Though the audio narration may request that you select items or buttons on the screen, please pause the video to read the content and then select play to continue with the video. When the video advances to a knowledge check, please pause the video and try to answer the question in your head. Select play to see the correct answer or answers to the question.
What is final certification? Let's look into that.
Select each folder tab to review the details.
Issuers are required to ensure that all MBS program pool types receive as a final certification by an approved document custodian within 12 months of the issue date of the related MBS. So when a pool is issued, you should have at least 12 months to do the final certification. All the necessary documentation that's needed to perform that exercise must be done within that 12 months. After 12 months, you could become delinquent. So you just want to make sure you're fitting in what Ginnie Mae's requirements are. Let's talk a little bit about the document custodian. By a final certification, the document custodian certifies to Ginnie Mae that they have received from the issuer all the loans, the pools, and loan packages documents required by the manual for final certification of the relevant pools. They verify the documents meet their attribute accuracy and completeness requirement described in the applicable document review procedures detailed in the manual. So the custodian has some work to do. They make sure they have all the necessary documents. Once they have them, they have to do their due diligence. Check them to make sure everything is okay. If things are not fine, it's up to the custodian to actually inform the issuer that something is not correct during the final certification process. If it's done through the system, then you'll have to do a rejection. So you just want to be careful on that. So the custodians actually know what their role is. Transfers. Let's talk about transfers. The transfer of any MBS program pool to a new issuer or to a new document custodian does not impact the deadline for final certification or the relevant pool. The final certification for any MBS program pool that has been transferred must be completed within 12 months of the issue date of the related MBS. So we're again stressing that. Make sure you're meeting that deadline. Within 12 months of the issue date, that pool must be final certified. So there has to be some chat. I don't know, the issuer will do it. I don't know if you have regular conversation with your custodian. Hey, this pool is coming up. Maybe in the custodian systems, it triggers something that this pool is due final certification at certain times, so they know to start reaching out to the issuer to start collecting those documentation. So whichever works best for you, just want to make sure you're meeting Ginnie Mae's guideline within 12 months of the pool issued. That pool must be in the final cert processing.
Now try this knowledge check.
I'm going to turn over to my colleague, Toid, so he can actually just give you an idea, walking you through the system.
I'll go ahead and kind of describe in the steps how to access the portal, how to log in and navigate to this screen where you can see the pools that are eligible for final certification, as well as initiating and then checking the status of that pool once it's been final certified by the document custodian and it's processed, how the status is updated. And then we also have a demo coming up, which kind of walks you through the steps on initiating a issued pool, and then the steps all the way to submission. So what you see on your screen is the MGM portal, the landing page. So you would enter the my.jennymay.gov URL to a browser of your choice. Once you hit enter, you will land on the My Jenny May landing page. And here on the top right, identified by the green arrow, you can see there's a login button. So you'll then go ahead and click on that. We can see now that the page is asking for your user ID and your password. So you'll then go ahead and enter those and click login. There is also a one-time PIN associated with the login. So once you receive that and you enter, it will take you to the dashboard. Now, what you see on the screen is the UAT test environment and the screens. There are some additional screens here. I just want to mention that when you in production as an issuer go land onto the My Jenny May portal, you'll only see one dashboard and you'll see only one pools and loan page. So I just wanted to mention that to avoid any kind of confusion, there are a couple of extra tabs. So once you land on my dashboard, you are then able to navigate to the pools and loans section. So once you click on the pools and loans, you can see the page has these colorful circles. We call them skittles, and there are different statuses here. So to look for any kind of pools that you might have initiated for final cert, they're labeled as final certification draft. And if you click on this colorful skittle, the system will apply a filter pointed on the green arrow on the middle bottom section. And any pool that falls in that category will show below. So for this demo, we do have the one pool that has been initiated for final certification, so it is in a draft status. But typically you would take a pool that has been issued and initiate those pools. We have another status or another skittle, which is called submitted for final certification. This is when you have made the updates and changes on the pool and you have submitted that pool to your custodian for final certification. The status will update to what you see on the screen. And once that pool has been final certified and has been processed and it is updated, it'll update to say final certified. That's just a quick overview on how to log in to My Jenny May, land on the dashboard, navigate to the pools and loans, and kind of look at the filters for the final certified or final certification draft or submitted for final certification status. And we'll go into a little bit more detail on the demo.
Now try this knowledge check.
Now we're going to just go through a couple of things with submitting for final certification on SFPDM before we actually go into a short demo. And everybody knows since December of last year, we've been using strictly SFPDM to do our submission, our initial submission. But remember, the legacy system was out there and people were doing new pools in the legacy system. So guess what? So if you did your pools in JennyNet, that means you'll be doing the final certification in JennyNet. So that's one of the first things we want you to be aware of. So if you did your pools in JennyNet, final certification is going to do in JennyNet. So that's the first thing we have there. Pools that were processed and submitted via JennyNet will not be available for final certification submission on SFPDM and must be final certified on JennyNet. So just want to stress that. So if your pool was done in JennyNet initially, the final certification needs to be performed in JennyNet. And although JennyNet is blocked to do certain things, you do have access to go in and do your final certification if that pool was processed in that space. So just want to clear that up or point that out to the users if you're not aware of that. And of course, SFPDM submission, just to give you some some initial stuff before we move into the demo. To submit a pool for final certification SFPDM, the pool must have been initially submitted on SFPDM. Yes, that's what, of course, that makes sense. Duh, Wade. That's what we're trying to show here. If the pools were done in SFPDM, then the final certification is going to be, must be performed in SFPDM. The pool must not have been transferred prior to the final certification, except for a PIT transaction where the pool is transferred at issuance. So if it's a PIT pool, of course, the pool is going to change ownership. So that's not going to be your pool to do the final certification. It's going to be on the new issuer, which is usually call them the buyer. So you just want to keep that in mind too. The original pool record must be initialized by SFPDM by the issuer with a status of issued/transferred before you can view or edit the pool or loan data. Once the issuer views or edit the pool, it can be transmitted to the custodian for final certification. And of course, the document custodian will do the certification, of course, in GeniNet, because currently our document custodian does not have their own PDM, but that's coming. So you're not going to hear the word GeniNet for a while. So, but right now, the issuers, you do your final certification via SFPDM, and the document custodian will still do their certification. That means they do their due diligence, and then they go in and do the final certification. And of course, if the document custodian finds something that is not correct from the original information, they have the ability to reject that transmission. So the issuer gets that transmission back, make the changes, and resubmit. And also, you'll see it, might see that in the demo, that for final certification, I know in the legacy system, issuers have to go out and retrieve the data in GeniNet to do the final source. In SFPDM, it's a little bit different. You don't need to go out and retrieve anything. We'll show you that in the demo. So those are some of the new things. GeniNet, you have to retrieve to do the final search. You put in the numbers, you put in a date range, and then it brings in all those pools for final certification. In SFPDM, it's much simpler, much easier, much cleaner, and you'll see the process as what I'm talking about. So these are just some of the things we want you to keep in mind before you actually start doing the initial. Just a reminder again, for GeniNet pools, you'll never see those pools on SFPDM for final certification. Those you'll have to do the retrieval and then review and then submit to your custodian, and they'll certify them in GeniNet. But in the SFPDM space, if the pool was initially done in SFPDM, of course, you're going to do the final certification within the 12 months period in the SFPDM space for all those pools that were done there.
Now try this knowledge check.
Hello, everyone. Today, we'll go over the process of an issuer on how to initiate, update, and submit a pool for final certification. As an issuer, once you log into My GeniMay and you enter your credentials, you will land on my dashboard. Once you land on your dashboard, you will navigate to Pools and Loan page. Once you get to the Pools and Loan page, you will have a list of all the pools that you have created or your organization has created with different skittles, which has the different statuses. For today's demo, we'll pick a pool that has been issued already by searching that pool ID on the search field. This should return the pool that we are looking for. You could see the pool is in the issued status. So what we'll do is go ahead and click on that pool ID to get into the pool detail. Once you land on the pool detail page, you will see on the top right of the page, you have the ability to initiate final certification by clicking on the button, and we'll go ahead and click. And this should open up the appropriate fields. And before that, we have the pop-up where it says final certification initiated, successfully placed in the final certification draft status. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And I just want to mention, you will see the status, which was an issued status on the top, has now changed to final certification draft. Next, we can see that on the pool detail page, the document custodian field has opened up, also known as the party role identifier, and it's a drop-down. So if you want to, or if there's a need to change your document custodian, you will be able to change the custodian here. For today's demo, we'll keep our custodian the same. And this is the only change that you're able to do. So what we'll do is go ahead and navigate to the loan detail page. Once you're on the loan detail page, you can see a list of the loans that are within this pool. Here you have the ability to remove loans or do loan substitution. And then what we'll do is go in one of the loan ID or the loan detail, and then we'll look at the additional field that you're able to change. So now that we're on the loan detail page, you can see the pool issuer loan identifier field has opened up. So if you need to make any changes, you're able to do so here. Next, we have the property address. You're able to also make adjustments to the address line, the city, the state, and the zip code if needed. And finally, you have the ability to adjust or change the borrower information. So you could see the last, the first, the middle name has opened up. So if you need to make changes, you can do so. You're also able to change the suffix type. And you're able to change from individual to the legal entity to where you can change or enter the full name. Once you have made your changes, if there are any, you're able to now save and validate the pool. So we'll go ahead and click save. You'll also get a successful pop-up notification stating that your data has been saved. And once that's confirmed, we'll go ahead and click validate. Here you'll also get a pop-up where it'll state that the pool has been sent for validation against the business rule, and you'll be notified if there are any errors. So if you have seen on the top right of the page, there was a quick pop-up, and we do get a portal notification, which will give you a success, or if there are any issues, the pop-up message will let you know, or the portal notification. So in our case, the pool has passed the business validation successfully, and we see that in the message. And you're also able to click on that pool number as a link to go back and go into the pool detail, which will also refresh the page. And now you can see on the top right, we went and we have the ability to now have the submit button available. So what we'll do is go ahead and click submit. And here you'll see a pop-up where you're able to acknowledge and enter your RSA token to submit your pool to the document custodian for final certification. One thing I do want to note, the submission process for final certification is a little different than initial certification, where the pool is sent to JennyNet for attestation. Once the pool has been attested, only then you're able to submit to your custodian. Whereas for final certification, you are acknowledging, checking the 3 boxes off, and are able to enter your RSA token and click submit. The other item I want to mention, you can see on the top, currently we have the status of this pool to final certification draft. And we'll see once we submit the pool successfully, the status change. So go ahead and enter the RSA token. Click submit. And you'll see another pop-up message comes up, and it says that we have received your request to submit this pool to your document custodian. We'll process your request and notify via message or the portal notification of the outcome. Please check or be on the lookout for the notification. So similar to before, we'll also receive a portal notification for when the pool is submitted to the document custodian, or if there are any issues, the system will let us know. So we'll click close. And we'll go ahead and check the notification center, see that if any kind of notifications are there. We do see that the pool was submitted. And now that the pool, once we refresh the page, we can see that the pool is logged for translation to JennyNet for final certification. And again, you can see the status. It has changed from draft to submitted for final certification.
On this screen, you'll see that we have links to the Ginnie Mae MBS guide, as well as the SFPDM user manual and quick reference cards, and then a final certification quick reference card. You can find these resources on the SFPDM Modernization Initiatives page on JennyMay.gov.
Now try this knowledge check.